Okpara. He is also known as an economist. He's going to be explaining all of this, breaking it down to the common person to understand. So you're going to join the conversation in a bit. We'll be live on Facebook and on YouTube. We'll take a quick break to get our guest to join us. Once he's able to do so, we'll get the conversation rolling.
Are you tired of all the noise and speculation in the news? On Hard Fact, we cut through the clutter and get straight to the truth.
If only Fubra has been aware of the boo-boo trap, he would have understood in democracy there are bases for everybody to do accordingly.
Join us as we bring you the stories that matter. We go beyond the headlines to uncover the real facts and the core of every story.
We are doing this, we are doing that. At the end of the day, nothing good will come out. What did they promise us? They will be in charge of security and life and whatever. But what are we getting in return?
With in-depth analysis and experts' interviews, Hard Facts delivers the truth that others dare not to reveal. Tune into Hard Facts every weekday, 3 to 6 p.m. and arm yourself with the knowledge you need to navigate today's complex world. Hard Facts, where the truth always prevails.
99.3 Nigeria Info.
Let's talk. Are you tired of all the noise and speculation in the news? On Hard Fact, we cut through the clutter and get straight to the truth.
If only Fubra has been aware of the boo-boo trap, he would have understood in democracy there are bases for everybody to do accordingly.
Join us as we bring you the stories that matter. We go beyond the headlines to uncover the real facts and the core of every story.
We are doing this, we are doing that. At the end of the day, nothing good will come out. What did they promise us? They will be in charge of security and life and whatever. But what are we getting in return?
With in-depth analysis and experts' interviews, Hard Facts delivers the truth that others dare not to reveal. Tune into Hard Facts every weekday, 3 to 6 p.m. and arm yourself with the knowledge you need to navigate today's complex world. Hard Facts, where the truth always prevails.
99.3 Nigeria Info.
Let's talk.
All right, we're trying to get our guests to join us now. Finally, I think that we have gotten Stanley to join us. Thank you, Stanley. Apologies for the delay. These things happen. Connections happen. For those who do not know, my guest is an economist. You know him online as your online banker. Stanley Onuorah joining us live via WhatsApp. Stanley, thank you so much for being patient with us. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's good to be here with you.
Lovely. So I hear that you're notorious for breaking things down for the benefit of the average person, especially for those of us that when we hear numbers, our brains go mush. I think that we would be able to learn from you. Now, you recently obviously heard about the Mr. President signing the new tax reforms into law. But before this, there have been several debates as to what it comprises of, who it would benefit, and how we can also sanitize the tax system. Let's start with the question that's on everybody's mind. Who does this new tax reform benefit? The average Nigerian or the elites again?
So for the first time, this bill is for Nigerian and especially the poor, because in most developed countries, realizes that there's a rebate for the poor, or a way of, incentivizing the poor to survive on the minimum that they have. But in Nigeria, before now, we're people that were earning low as 40,000 per month. But with this new tax bill, high as earning over a year, we're going to, go tax free, pay as earned.
I'm sorry, Stanley. I'm so sorry to speak over you. Some bits of what you're saying is going with the network. I don't know if it's your earpiece. Are you using an earpiece?
No, I'm not.
Well, some bits of your conversation is breaking. It just keeps, some words would disappear, but we hear what's coming next. Let's try again. I don't know if it's a connection issue.
Okay, can you hear me clearly now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so I was saying that the first time the bill supports the average Nigerian, especially for what we've had before was we are seeing a case where people that were earning as low as 40,000 naira were being taxed pay as you earn. But with this tax bill, you get people earning an average of over 1 million naira per annum without getting taxed. Then there's incentives on things like food, agriculture, healthcare, sanitary products for women, and which are laudable initiatives. Then for the armed forces, for example, there is a tax rebate. They don't pay as you earn, so they are not on the salaries. Mm-hmm. And then for people that are going to be retrenched, so for example, you were working in an organization, you were laid off, and you are supposed to pay the compensation. There's no tax for that for an amount up to 50 million naira if you're going to earn below 50 million naira. So all these incentives are supposed to help the poor. And the essence of doing this as the government is so that when they come for you and your tax, you're not going to complain at the points where you need to be taxed.
I like how you've broken that down, because there's so many questions. In fact, when I said I was going to talk about this, there were so many questions. Earlier on today, we brushed over some of the stories that have to do with taxes. And I think the story with the Guardian newspaper was that about the concerns of overlapping responsibilities, lack of political will, the sanitization of the environment, especially with the thugs who come and say, oh, da. How does this new tax reform address that? Let's start with sanitizing the process, because one of the big issues when we talk about taxation, and I think the last time I had Taiwo here in the studio, we were talking about how do we cut down on the number of thugs and double taxation that people get to deal with, especially here in Lagos.
So the credit to Taiwo again, amazing work. And what they effectively did was take almost over 50 something taxes and reduce the number. But you don't expect it to trickle down. What gave rise to the thugs in the first place was the authority of the local government to collect taxes and their inability to find a formal way or an effective way to take those taxes. Mm-hmm. So they deployed those guys. And now that created the chaos that we have at various fronts. But slowly, by the time those guys know that they are now fully operating illegally, because before now, if you were to say what tax am I paying for? They could just reel out one of the taxes and say, this is it. You are paying for local government insurance, XYZ, or you're paying for whatever it is that they could call the name. And it will be there. If you're going to go to the books, it will be there. But now you know that you're going to be operating totally illegally with the FIRS changing and the new tax board across different states. So it's a gradual process, and with enlightenment, people will start to see like progress along that line.
Okay, lovely. Let's talk overlapping policies and responsibilities, because how do we separate FIRS's tax from LIRS, from local government, and the ones that you've already told us that there will be, but how many let's talk about the average person, the small businesses, how many of them really know what exactly is in the books? Is there going to be a widespread enlightenment program because I loved the enlightenment that was done as the reform process or the writing down of the reforms were taking place? But is there going to be another form of enlightenment, maybe across the states, and then the FIRS will have its own done, so that people can actually be carried along and so that there is no overlapping?
So what I think will happen is that there will be a lot more tax officers. That's one. And I expect there to be a lot of enlightenment. So across board, influencers, talk shows and all, to let people know exactly who is in charge of what tax and what you are supposed to pay, what you are no longer supposed to pay. So some employers normally would generally, like, you notice a couple of employers that have people below a threshold. I would say for a lot of small businesses in Nigeria, I won't give a statistics, but I'll say over 50% of people that employ labor in Nigeria for small businesses are paying below those minimum wage or just at minimum wage. So you do not have a recourse to pay as you earn that you need to send back to the government. Now, if you're already deducting that from your employer, from your employees, for example, you need to find a way because the government is saying that takes off in January. You need to find a way to cut back down. And then for the employees, need to know that, okay, there's now money that's supposed to be accrued to me that I'm supposed to earn from my employer. People do not know that. Some people don't even know how much their taxes are. They just know that they receive their salary, so they don't know how much is being taken out. So I think this enlightenment across board. And then for the overlapping that you mentioned, what you would see is that they will begin to have structures, because now the state governments are going to get some proceeds from the companies that are in their states, as opposed to what we had going all the way to the federal government.
Federal
government. So these are things that will take. We don't expect them to be automatic, but it's a process for everyone, and I'm sure it's going to take shape.
All right, if you're just joining us, Lagos, we have your online banker here with us, Stanley, trying to explain to us the new tax reforms. But when we come back from the break, we're going on a very short break. When we come back from the break, I want to talk about governors' cooperation and political will required to implement these laws, because it's one thing to have it on paper, it's another for it to be enforced and pushed, fully backed by governors at all levels, or governance at all levels. We'll be right back after this break. It's still 99.3 Nigeria Info. Stay with us.
More news and information coming up. We'll be back in a moment.
There's a sound rising from Africa, a sound of worship, a sound of awakening. This is Tape 2025, the African Praise Experience. On Friday, the 11th of July, the city of Lagos will resound with praise as thousands gather at the Rock Cathedral Lekki for a night of glory. Join Pastor Paul alongside some of Africa's most anointed voices: Israel Houghton, Dunsin Oyeko, Nathaniel Bassi, Adeyinka Lasheori, Onos, Prince Emmanuel, Bidemi Olaoba, VJ Sachs, Gaze Baba, Eben, Mr. M in Revelation, Limo Blaze, Ima Oh My God, Minister GUC, IB Quake, and the Lagos Metropolitan Gospel Choir. Tape 2025. Be there. Friday, the 11th of July at 8 p.m. at the Rock Cathedral, Lekki. This is not just a sound, it's a signal that Africa is awakening to its divine destiny.
All right, class, settle down. Today, let's talk about how you started your day.
We got dressed and had pancakes with John Vance 3-in-1 chocolate for breakfast.
My mom makes John Vance 3-in-1 chocolate for us too.
My mom calls it instant goodness. Sister and I always put it inside our pap. It's so yummy.
John Vance 3-in-1 chocolate is a chocolate drink made of rich cocoa, milk, and sugar. Available nationwide in stores. John Vance 3-in-1 chocolate. Enjoy instant goodness.
No more stress, we the build your future, no regrets. I invest, not show collect. Grow your world, no delay. I invest, only on the future. I invest, your money never darling. I invest, watch your savings rising. I invest, no time to waste.
Are you tired of chasing the bag? It's time to get it right away with iInvest, Nigeria's leading platform for wide varieties of financial products. You can access fixed deposits, treasury bills, equities, and more right at your fingertips. Visit i-investng.com today to get started. iInvest is powered by Parthian Partners, a SEC-regulated capital market operator. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Please consult with an investment advisor.
Hey there, mums and dads. Did you know that some children are picky eaters and also do not get enough fruits and vegetables from their diet? Well Kid Baby and Infant Syrup is a food supplement from Vitabiotics that contains 14 vitamins and minerals, including vitamin C and zinc, as well as flaxseed oil, which supports brain development and all-round health. Well Kid Baby and Infant Tasty Syrup is for children 3 months to 5 years of age. Give your young ones a good start with Well Kid Baby and Infant from Vitabiotics UK. Available in pharmacies near you.
Hi, this is Nene from the boat safety team. You can't see us, but we're right here with you on every boat ride. To your left is the ride insurance team. We insure your ride as soon as your trip starts. To your right is the record audio team. We keep a recording of your trip for 24 hours in case you need it later. And behind you is the customer support team, ready to chat 24/7. We're the boat safety team, by your side on every ride.
This taste na banger, this taste na creamy rich, this taste na new Nescafe, original 3-in-1. Thickness, enjoyment, yumminess, happiness, delightfulness, deliciousness, smoothness. This taste na new Nescafe, original 3-in-1.
Enjoy more creamy richness with the new Nescafe Original 3-in-1 in the new pack. That's strong, finish strong.
It's amazing how your child grows up before your eyes. Enable their thriving development and the care they need with the new NanKid 4 with HMOs to support your child's development, probiotics to help your child's digestion and development, and high-quality proteins to support age-appropriate growth. And all of these work together to support your child's development and growth today and tomorrow. NanKid 4. Nourish your child's potential.
Mr. Teacher, please, what happens when children come to school? How is it that they leave home very neat and return looking so different?
Non-stop action, ma. All the learning and sports burn energy. So those sweat stains, dirty uniforms and shoes, they show that your kid has been very active.
Now, wow.
Your kids need nourishing energy. Give them Milo at breakfast. It has nutrients that support energy release to help them get the most out of their day. Milo, energy to go further.
Milo. Success is like a big mansion. You only see the magnificent edifice, not the strong foundation that holds it. Likewise, in the world of e-payments, you only see transactions done and funds remitted. But who pioneered these financial technology solutions? Well, you knew it as Value Card, now Unified Payments, Nigeria's premier financial technology service provider. Yes, it starts here. Find out more at www.up-ng.com.
Unified Payments. Unifying businesses for people.
This taste na banga, this taste na creamy rich, this taste na new Nescafe, original 3-in-1. Thickness, enjoyment, yumminess, happiness, delightfulness, deliciousness, smoothness. This taste na new Nescafe, original 3-in-1.
Enjoy more creamy richness with the new Nescafe Original 3-in-1 in the new pack. That's strong. Finish strong.
No be party jollof this thing.
I beg, make nothing hungry you again today.
I am pregnant wife they follow talk so.
Neighbor, I beg.
I beg neighbor, just one spoon.
No wahala.
Chef, what's the secret?
Now, Mr. Chef seasoning powder. Mr. Chef seasoning powder. Get spicy stew, goat meat, fried rice, and roasted beef from great aroma to great taste.
Elevate every meal with Mr. Chef seasoning powder. Chef.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We are back.
We're back. 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Millions of listeners trust us on Hard Fact. Whether it's politics, social issues, controversies, and trending stories. You know we're credible and objective.
It's Hard Facts with Marian Okon on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Yes, it is still Hard Facts, 99.3 Nigeria Info. We're broadcasting live from our audio-visual studios right here in Itmi and Crescent, Victoria Island, Lagos. We're talking on the Big Hard Facts today about the new tax reforms, what you need to know, how it might affect you or not affect you, and of course, what taxes you are supposed to pay or what you're exempted from. Now, if your salary, I hear, is below 250,000, then you probably might not have to pay some taxes. But my guest, many of you know him as your online banker, but Stanley is here with us in the studio talking to us about the breakdown of this new tax reforms and some of the roadblocks that he might experience. Stanley Onuorah is an economist. Before we went on that break, Stanley, we were talking about political will. We're talking about implementation and enforcement. And of course, interests, whether we like it or not, interests have come to play. Remember the standoff between the northern governors when this bill was still in writing. They had made, in fact, the northern elders also had made a position claiming that some of these laws or these reforms were not going to benefit the people in that region, and that at some point they had come to some agreement. How are we certain that governors will back these particular reforms, will push for it? I mean, you've talked about the fact that there's a lot more money that might be coming to the coffers of some states directly now, as opposed to what it used to be where monies go to the federal coffers. Explain to the average person if these governors will be backing this, or it might be a problem for the government at the center.
Okay, so for the people that are concerned about government backing, I think that those days are behind, because they needed to bring them in alignment. There were things that were changed. There were some modifications that were brought into the bill before it was actually passed.
Mm-hmm.
So those were their recommendations, and that was taken care of. But now it has been passed, especially with the benefits to the average man.
Mm-hmm.
It's now a case of the government against the people. Are you going to say that me getting a tax rebate in one form or the other, you don't want it because you have a political agenda? I'm not sure any government, or any governor in any state will want to stand against that. But much more importantly is that if you notice something, especially around the VAT, that was heavily concentrated around states like Lagos, their VAT accrued to them has been diluted to some states. So use, for example, some states in the southeast had their VAT go up by a good percentage. And what you then see is that this was in effect what the tax reform bill had proposed and all. So to them, you now start to see the benefits to you in terms of revenue that would accrue to you. And then if you were to implement certain, if you were to bring out certain rules of ease of doing business and attract certain types of people to your state, the possibility of your revenues to increase, especially for VAT, is now there. So it's not left for you to be more productive as a state. It's now an option for you to be more productive as a state. But if for the governors and going against the bill, I don't think that's going to happen. That is going to start road already.
You've touched on something that's a bit more political. I don't know if you want to go there. States being productive, which is something that a lot of people have been hiding behind, going cap in hand every other month to the FCT to get monies. But this now is going to be challenging the productivity levels in states. Again, I go back to my former question. Are you sure that governors will be able to align based on interest and capacity?
So there's the common saying that necessity is the mother of invention.
Mm-hmm.
When push comes to, in Nigerian, we say push comes to shove,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone sees that this is an actual benefit, there is motivation to work. I can tell you for a fact that if we today as a country decide to stop the allocation of funds from the center and tell states to go and generate their revenue, in less than 1 year, you will see some states that you never thought possible to produce certain level of productivity to come from them, come up to the fore. It's just because there is that option that is readily available, it weakens you. You know that every month, what is the essence of doing XYZ jobs? The government is going to still provide us with our allocation at the end of the month. So necessity, like they say, is the mother of invention. So at this point, we're going to start to see a lot more different in what the states will do. But it's still coming from the states. It's still coming from, they're still sharing from everywhere, even from people that are not as productive. So, well, that's still a long talk that we can't have today.
Before I open up the phone lines, because I know my people have questions for you, let's talk about there are certain groups of people who have raised concerns about government being at the risk of losing revenue over inefficiency and sabotage. Which again, I can use Lagos as a case study. I remember some of my callers earlier today asking that all of these taxes that we've been paying, where does the money go? Does it directly go into the coffers of government? How do we plug these loopholes? And that's where we talk about maybe sabotage and inefficiency. But you had already also mentioned that there would be a need for more tax officials. But how do we guard against this question that I've asked?
So there is a system that the National Revenue Service will be using, as per the reports that I got, and it's being tested. It's something that I heard is being used in 2 or 3 other countries in the world, where your actual amount that you earn as a business will be calculated. So you can't lie to the revenue service. So in that sense, it will be difficult for you as a business to evade tax. Now, while this whole thing was done, that's why one of the things, even when I was making the video, is that the government is not silly to just say we're going to create rebates for everyone. It's supposed to be that at the end, when you are effectively supposed to pay tax and you don't, it's not going to be a case of, we have done everything for you, this is your own quota back to the government and you are not fulfilling it. And there has to be a particular, all have BVN, for example. And there's still the whole cash-based system that the government is still working around to see how, go through that. But if you are filing your VAT, because you're going to come for that, you're going to file your VAT and file you're going to state who you file to. And then some of those things are going to be linked to other people. And the system is robust. So I expect that with the new National Revenue Service that's coming up, we're going to see a lot more technology evading of tax. So I think everybody should be up for it.
One last question. You raised VAT, which has been giving me palpitations every time I go out for dinner. The last time my colleague and I went out for dinner, we were like, this money we're paying for tax, we could have bought extra food for the driver. You know, why is the VAT becoming so high? And it's alarming. It's not like the cost of living is reducing. It's getting higher. So we can't even eat and have peace. Explain to the average person why VAT is that high now.
Now, I would not want to make a case for the government. You know, this is the one that I would, where I would politely, but because it's even said that the VAT is supposed to go higher. Yes, not immediately, but there is, at the state of the economy now, being fragile and people go through, you can't just go abroad and increase VAT, but expect it to go higher.
Wow, that is not nice. That's not great news. Anyway, Lagos, you can join the conversation. We're live, facebook.com/Nigeria Info FM. We're also live on YouTube, Nigeria Info FM. Join the conversation on WhatsApp. It's 08095975805. We would love to hear from you. 60 seconds you have. Please go straight to the point. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Yeah, good evening, Miriam.
Good evening. What's your name, sir? Where are you calling from?
My name is Bless. To your guest, good evening. So, Miriam, what is the reason behind you don't always pick my call in your show now? What's in the
Do you have a question?
I have, but you have no answer.
Do you have a question? You're wasting our time, sir. Do you have a question?
Okay. Let me just say we are the cause of our problem. Let me know as your guest a question. We are the cause. So no need. Thank you.
All right. I have no clue what that means. How it applies to this conversation, but thank you. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. What's your name, sir? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Genesis calling from Onuorah.
Go ahead.
Okay. Now my question is that I suppose that I work in a company in Onuorah.
Mm-hmm.
So monthly, although it's a private company, monthly the average person there paid close to 12,000 naira, and we are over 5,000.
Sorry, is that what you receive as salary or what you pay as your payee tax?
Yes, as my payee tax,
Okay.
and our monthly salary is up to 150. Sometimes 9. But that keep on rising every monthly, and we didn't see.
I'm so sorry. You're breaking up. We couldn't hear the most of your question. So you're saying that most people don't earn up to 150,000. What is your question then?
Okay. Now my question is that this tax reform is going to exclude such people or how?
Oh, okay, great. Thank you very much, Stanley.
So the effective amount that is going to, I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you. Yes.
The effective amount that is going to be exempted from tax is 108,000 naira.
Okay.
108,000 naira monthly. So that comes up to about 1.3 million naira annual. So if you're earning above that, you still have, you're still within the tax bracket, so you still get tax. So 108,000 naira.
So if at the end of the year your salary is up to 108,000.
Oh no, 108,000
monthly. 1.0. So, but if you earn below 108,000, you still have to pay taxes.
No, you don't pay. That is the people that don't pay from 108 below.
Oh, so from 108 low, you don't need to pay taxes.
Yeah. Yes, so that's about 1.3 million naira
annually. Oh, lovely. Well, for the way he sounded, he's like his salary fluctuates. Some months he gets 150, and some months he gets less. I don't know, but I'm hoping that you got the answer to your question. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Hello, Marianne. Good evening.
Good evening. What's your name, sir? Where are you calling from?
My name is Ben. I'm calling from Eba.
Okay.
Marianne, I don't like when the government say Ayodele said that low income earners doesn't pay tax. We are being embodied with multiple taxation. It is everybody pays tax in Nigeria. We are the end users. All these things they want to do now, they want to embody the importers, the manufacturers, the big players, they want to embody them more. And by the time they tax them more now, we are the ones that are patronizing them, their products, like Dangote cement now. You will increase the price. Okay, low income now that was paying house rent 200,000 before. Now they are paying 1.something million because the landlords are buying building materials high price. The importers, what they clear their container with 5 million. Now container is nearly 30 million to pay 40 feet container. Is it not me and you that is buying the product? The thing is expensive now. When you buy fuel, you pay tax. Electricity tariff, you are paying tax. When you buy foreign exchange, that was 750 before black market. Now it is 1,006. It is tax. Government collecting the interest rate. Nigeria have the highest interest rate in the whole world. 27.6%. When Tinubu took over, it was 6.something%. And they're saying that low income earners doesn't pay tax. It is a lie.
All right. Thank you very much for calling. Would you like to respond to his claims?
So if I heard him correctly, he's stating that from the general assertion that the low income earners will pay tax.
Because the burden falls back on us.
Yes, exactly. The truth is that in some way or the other, you contribute to the state where you live. It's a civil responsibility. So what we as a people are, because the social contracts, we're in a social contracts with the government. They are supposed to fill up their own part of the bargain. And so mass housing, I heard him talking about housing and all. Mass housing is to be a function of the government for low-income earners to find a way to alleviate the housing crisis. But we have that is a contract on the side of the government. Individuals trying to fill that part, especially with high inflation and cost of things being up, still have to recoup because it's an investment. You have to find a way to recoup the investment. So the burden still comes down. So if we are stating that the contract between us and the government is a bit broken, in the sense that they are not fulfilling that part that they're supposed to fulfill in terms of mass housing and affordable housing. So it's left for us to know where we wait for them every 4 years or your representatives for you to speak to them.
All right, Lagos, we're still taking your thoughts and your comments. Keep them coming. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Hi, good evening, Marianne.
Good evening. What's your name, sir? Where are you calling from?
Yes, my name is Victor. I'm calling from Ikoyi.
All right, Victor, go ahead, please.
So, this question is for your guest, actually. So, I am looking to start up a business. It's a small business, basically. It's a restaurant. I just want to know, for people who are starting up these kinds of businesses, say restaurants, which I'm doing, if I'm making, because I heard some figures, I just want to be sure. Let's say I'm making between 30 to 50 million naira a year to be taxed, and what would be the percentage that I will be taxed on as a small business?
Okay, great question. Stanley, did you hear his question?
He said what? I didn't hear.
He said he wants to be certain what the percentage would be that he'd be taxed on his small business. For example, he wants to go into a food business, like a small restaurant, and take, for example, his earning is about 50 million. What is the percentage, the average percentage that he will be taxed on that 50 million?
So for company income tax for 50 million under tax company, so you have CIT that for him within that band there's no company income tax, so he's not paying that below 50 million naira. But for he has to still file VAT for business. But that percentage that he's thinking of for CIT, he will not pay it below 50 million. So you fall within the band that has been increased. Yes, so 50 million and under. For people like him that has a small business, he's not going to pay annually.
Lovely. I guess that's good news for him, so he can go into business, really. 0201-277-0993. I can take 2 more calls before I let my guests go. Hello. Welcome to Hard Facts. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Good evening. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good evening. Good evening, Mary. This is Godwin from Lakwe.
Go ahead, Godwin.
Yes, I have serious reservation about this whole system.
Okay.
We've been hearing enough. Before now, the president and the party APC made us understand that if this government does not provide prepaid meter for Nigeria, we should not vote in. And 2 years gone along the line, nothing has been done. With the same government that this school feeding program, when people were on holidays and even COVID-19, how am I sure this one is not going to be a theoretical exercise? Then the practicality of it will go the same APC dramatic for. How am I sure it's not going to be so? That is my question. Thank you.
All right, Gavin, thank you very much for your question. I can take one more so that you can answer both at the same time, Stanley. So let me just take one last question. Hello.
Mary Ann.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening. Good evening to your guests.
Thank you.
I want to ask you, all these people who are accosting us every time, are they paying tax? That's one. Second, again, how are we sure that this tax is getting to federal government pocket? Well done, sir.
Thank you very much, Uzoma. So, Stanley, I'm sure you understand what she means by Awomida as Lagosians. I know you're an Abuja boy, but she's talking about thugs, and Lagos has a number of them. And she's also querying a question that I had asked earlier on. How are we certain that these monies go into the coffers of government?
So it's a lot of the thugs are not collecting federal tax. Most of them are collecting tax from the local government. So they are mostly local government representatives, and in some cases, state government. But what we're going to have now is harmonization. And with that harmonization, I don't know if those guys are still going to be there in form of collecting some of those taxes. But like what we mentioned in earnest, by the time the awareness now comes and everyone knows what they are supposed to pay and what they are not supposed to pay, and where you are now paying that, you now have the full confidence. One of the problems we have in this country is that because a lot of people don't file their taxes, they don't know what they are paying for. So if I come out and tell you you do not pay water inland revenue tax, maybe something that never exists, you are scared and you're like, okay, I tell you, you have not, when last did you file it? Did you file it? You as a business, you just say, no, come to the side, oh, please. I don't want to get into trouble. Because you're not aware.
Ignorance.
But now that you are going to be aware that these are just the number of taxes you're supposed to pay, highlighted, and if you are remitting those or you are exempted from it, you now have the full, because that's why they say knowledge is power. So you now have the power to say, bros, this thing you're asking me for, you're not supposed to do.
Yeah.
And then with increased awareness, we'll hope that comes down. And for the last guy that spoke about if this...
we have 30 seconds.
So there's a difference between the law and something has been passed into law and a political promise. This is law now and binding. You can take anybody to court, even the government.
Well, I want to say thank you to my guest because this is almost all the time that we have. I hope that you've learned something from today's conversation. Stanley Onuorah is an economist, and if you want to find him online, just search for UR online. Is UR?
Online banker.
I know, but it's not YOUR, so it's UR as in your online banker. Is it YOUR?
No, it's just online banker. On X, it's UR.
Okay.
Online banker.
UR online banker on X. Okay, but you can just find online banker on all platforms, and he's always there explaining things that you don't understand. I'm gonna take him to the side because my brain's still a little mush by numbers. Thank you so much, Stanley, for coming on the show. We really appreciate you. Thank you. All right. Well, Lagos, that's the show. I want to thank you all for being part of the conversation. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, MIMIEYO, or just search for Marianne Dukokun. The news comes up at the top of the hour, and then, of course, the sports gang will be here at 7. I love you, Lagos. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Of listeners trust
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3